Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome to the Apex Racing TV studio here at the Apex Racing Sim Centre. We've been working hard preparing for our grand opening next month, but today I have exciting news for our newest Apex Racing League Championship, Season 2 of the ARL Truck Series. We return to the ovals for the first time in nearly a year and in some of the most popular stock cars on the sim. I'm going to go through some of the details for this series and why you need to sign up. So first up, the schedule. Daytona takes its standard round 1 spots. It is joined by the longest and shortest ovals on the real-life truck series in the form of Talladega and Bristol. The free Charlotte Oval marks the midpoint of the season, and 2 of the circuits we let our Discord members vote for, Michigan and Road America, feature in rounds 2 and 6. The final 3 meetings form the playoffs. This is the first time we have had a playoff format in an ARL series. The Phoenix race coincides with the real-life NASCAR 2022 finale before we go to Watkins Glen and the most popular circuit on our Discord poll, Indianapolis Oval. The races should last approximately an hour, although of course the oval events can vary due to the number of cautions. All the meetings are hosted on European Sunday evenings, meaning they are accessible for both Europeans and Americans. Our biggest and best change for this season is the playoff format. We have taken inspiration from the real-life NASCAR championships, but adapted it for the sim racing world. As I stated before, the first 6 rounds of the series form the regular season, with the last 3 forming the playoffs. At the start of the playoffs, 8 drivers who scored the most points during the regular season get their points reset to 1,000 plus any bonus points they accumulated, which they earn for podium finishes during the regular season. Those 8 drivers then battle it out to see who can score the most points in the final 3 rounds and claim the championship. For those who aren't familiar with the playoffs, everyone is eligible to race in every race, so even if you don't qualify for the playoffs, you can still take part in the final 3 meetings, racing against those who are going for the title. This format should give anyone a chance for the championship this season. Even if you aren't the quickest driver, consistent results in the first 6 races could sneak you into the playoff positions, at which point anyone with a bit of fortune could clinch the title. So if you're a European looking to race stock cars in a competitive league, this should be ideal for you. Visit apexracingleague.com to find further details about this upcoming championship, including our new point structure, midweek practice sessions, and new stewarding guidelines. Make sure to sign up quick. We only have 43 places open for round 1, and with our Porsche Cup Championship reaching 60 sign-ups in a week, spots may dry up quickly. So go to apexracingleague.com and sign yourself up for this exciting new season. See you on track soon.
Hello and welcome race fans. It's time for round 2 of the ARL Truck Series live from Michigan International Speedway and its D-shaped bowl in Brooklyn to the west of Detroit. It's been wowing race fans with its combination of ultra high speed frenetic racing from its very first races. Then, as now, is among the fastest oval courses in America, and nearly 50 years of development, they've managed to keep it as one of the country's leading facilities. Oh my god, are we in for an epic race tonight? I am Tim Cox. We've got Sam Fitzpatrick in the virtual production trailer, but right now I'm joined by Charles Bushell. Charles, welcome along. Last time out, Daytona, we were saying before the show, it was an absolute firecracker, high speed, high action, high octane, and well, it did not fail to deliver. I get a feeling we're in for pretty much the same again here in Michigan tonight.
Hey Tim, thanks for having me in. Thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, I mean, sounds like from what we talked about was a standard high speed tri-oval draft track race. So looking forward to seeing this 2-mile tri-oval, see what these trucks can do around it.
That's definitely going to be an interesting one to say the least. Qualifying not far away at all. That's getting underway in about 5 minutes time, but let's take a little look at the track map. As Charles mentioned, tri-oval here in Michigan International Speedway. And well, once you get across the start line, it's all about that long, drawn-out left that then starts to tighten up into turns 1 and 2 before we head across the back straight. And 2 miles in length, 3.2 kilometers. It's foot to the floor the whole way round. And then we enter into turns 3 and 4 for arcing right across the start-finish line. The beauty of the tri-oval, it's going to be another cracker, I am sure, and we get to find out who is going to be crowned after 65 laps. The victor tonight, of course, Ruse taking the victory last week by 0.2 seconds at the line over Kisselman. It was a real close affair, but it was all about that last cautionary period that really put the cat amongst the pigeons. And Alcantech, who dominated in qualifying, occupying the top 7 positions, well, it just didn't translate. They lost out the first cautionary period, and then it just compounded from there. Got lucky in the green-white checkered at the end. And Schnabel managed to pick his way through the melee and the mayhem to come home third. Littner, in the end, maybe a bit disappointed by that one himself, and Ruse were right at the sharp end, and so was Spitzmiller as well. But in the end, they weren't able to claim a place on the podium. Hutchinson landed in 7th, so 6th and 7th. Capel, Campbell, who rode well initially, especially after that first cautionary period, in the end came home 9th, and Crouch rounding out your top 10. But this is where it starts to change around. The championship standings, obviously, just the race results from race 1. You've got another cracker as well. We've still got some great circuits to come this season. Bristol next time, that Talladega, before we enter into Charlotte, and then into our first road course this evening, round 6. That's from Road America. We'll finish out with Phoenix, Watkins Glen, and then the absolutely iconic, epic, amazing brickyard that is Indianapolis. And well, in practice, Redford setting the timing screens alight. He has gone quickest, and well, he had an absolute mental race, I think, by anyone's standards last time out at Daytona. Started at the back, came through the field to the front before getting caught up in a cautionary period, and the catalyst for it fell to the back of the field, came back through once again, and it was in that last green-white checkered that, well, it all came apart for him. Ended up in the catch fencing of what could have been an absolute underdog performance from the Brit. But the 31 running well here tonight, Charles. And also, this week, we've had a 100% increase in the amount of Fords. We've got a Ford in the form of Sven Newman. And he's running well as well in 4th place as well during practice even.
It's good to see all three. It's good to see all three manufacturers represented in these races. That's good to see. So yeah, I was looking at the timing tower, and the top 25 cars are within a second. The top 24 within a half second. So this is going to be a really interesting race. Looks like the field is pretty well even as far as top lap times.
It's just we're talking about that draft at Daytona here at Michigan. I assume it's going to play exactly the same part, and it's going to be just getting right place at the right time and ensuring that you're still in that draft, I would assume.
Yeah, I think the draft is going to play a big role, but I think the banking here is not quite as pronounced as at Daytona. So I think if you've got a good setup, you can probably run this track flat, but it will eat your tires quite a bit more than Daytona. So the lap times will start dropping off. People will start having issues with their handling, and that pit stop during the middle of the race is going to play who's got the best strategy, who's going to take 2, who's going to take 4, who's going to try and go on one set, and that's probably going to end up telling the tale.
I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that tyre strategy plays out. Like you say, who elects to go for 2 instead of 4? I mean, it's got to be risky. It's going to be a real gamble if you try and go the whole way, I would imagine, right the way to the end without changing tyres. I'd imagine that we're going to see at least all of our drivers go for minimum 2.
I would say you're probably right, but if you get a guy that's got a good setup, that's able to run high and able to manage his tires during the race, it's always a possibility.
Well, we're just getting across into a qualifying right now. Let's have a bit of a mention of one of our sponsors for the series, Virtual Racing School. If you're looking to improve your on-track performance, they have 50+ data packs for road and oval racing, including setups, track guides, of course, their data analysis software, which is absolutely amazing, helps you to find where you're missing out on time, where you can improve. And of course, their one-on-one coaching sessions that are available. Make sure you check them out. That's Virtual Racing School. And we are into qualifying now. Drivers just heading on their out laps. Bit of a voyage into the known. Close qualifying this week, so there's no one to pull you along. This is all about, Charles, driver and machine, and ensuring that you get your line absolutely perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be right on every apex, so to speak, and yeah, this will tell the tale of qualifying setups and who's got the ability to stay in the throttle for the entire lap.
We're on board with Sticks in the Toyota, the 37, heading down the backstretch into 3, and you can see him. I tell you, I was looking across at his wheel. He's minimal inputs, isn't it? It's incredibly smooth, and then running across the apron, trying to take the shortest line possible to the line. And well, of course, he's going to go fastest. Set the benchmark 39.95, and Blakesley, well, only 200ths behind him. Newman 300. A top 4 right now. Made that top 5 with Spitzmiller. Even top 6 as time started to come in. Covered by under a 10th. I'll tell you what, initially when you get that first time on the board, quite often it's someone who gets displaced, but Sticks holding on to that for quite a while. Redford going fastest with a 39.9. And I get a feeling, Charles, we're not going to be far away from someone breaking into that 39.8.
Yeah, I think so. I think, but I'm looking at the times versus practice, and they're about a half second slower. So that tells you how much the draft is going to play into this race, just running solo versus running in the packs.
Schnabel, first driver, making it in the 39.8, 39.89, so only just by 100th of a second, but he's got himself there. Provisional pole position for him. Redford still remaining in second as Brandon Blakesley in the 17 right now. Moved down through the order a little bit after that initial good pace. Down in 4th, second row of the grid, but could be the place to be is that McManus. Great lap from the American Chevrolet number 9 in the Autosport going 4th there. I mean, in terms of qualifying, obviously, I know you want to be as high up the standings as possible because it's going to keep you out of the drama in the midfield. But, I mean, starting from, in that second row, sometimes it can prove to be a bit better for you, Charles, can't it, compared to starting out on the front because you're going to have to draft on the cars in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes if you hear those big draft tracks, you either want to start in the front or start in the back. I'm not sure being all the way in the back is necessarily a good thing here at Michigan. So definitely would want to be up in the top 2 or 3 rows.
I mean, look at the lap times that are coming in there. Sven Newman showing that the times are identical. I can tell you that it was actually 100th of a second in it between himself and Schnabel, but we're heading towards it being another Alcantech pole position in the championship. This time it's with Schnabel. Last time out it was Capel.
Yeah. 3 tenths covering the top 20.
As Blix moves up her position into 6th and up a row, up onto the third row, displacing McManus, who was running in second on the second row for a little while. So yet to set times, Mignot, Gunnarsson and Haid. Also, I tell you what, it's Daniel Solo. Yet to set time as well as had picked up off track so far. The drivers do have 4 laps available to them. Nabel has completed his allotted 4, so has Newman, so their times are set and done and dusted. Redford, he's got another chance to improve. Solander, well, just gone faster than anyone in the first sector. He's on an absolute blinder right now in that 40 Chevrolet. But where is he going to go as well? Halfdarson moving right out of the timings out there into 5th place. But here comes Solander across the line. Is he going to go purple in that final sector? No, he has gone green, but it's good enough to head up onto the front row and join his teammate Schnabel right at the depth. Just about squeezed it in there before the session ended. A great run there from the Swede. Let's take a little look from your grid here for round 2 from Michigan. Schnabel starting on pole with his teammate Solander alongside him. Newman has Redford for company on the second row with Blakesley and Halfdarson on the third row. The grid Sticks and Blixt. Oh, nice combination of names there. Starting the 4th row with the 5th row round out your top 10. It's Trevor McManus and Norbert Leitner. Matt Campbell, he starts down in 11th with 2nd place finisher last time out at Daytona, Kevin Killman. On the 6th row of the grid. Moving through, it is Jason Nevery and Richard Spitzmuller with Sufi and Crouch starting on 15th and 16th respectively. Grande and Capel. Of course, Capel started on pole last time. This time finds himself all the way down the field in 18th on the 9th row with Mignot. And last time winner, Andrew Roos, starting in 20th and on the 10th row of the grid. Adam Gladden, he's got fellow Brit Mott Hutchinson for company on the 11th row with Elkid and Sariano on the 12th row. Then to run out the last couple of rows, it is Steve Brown and Caitlin Hayden and Daniel Solo and Jonas Gunnarsson, an all Swedish final row and all Alcantech row. They bookend the fields in terms of qualification on those rows. So locking out the first row and the final row of the grid to Alcantech as the drivers all lining up, taking to their slots, getting ready to go racing. Charles, I can feel the anticipation starting to build, and they've started to kick in a little bit for the drivers, just looking to get underway and just get some clean running under their belt.
Absolutely, they're getting their mindset and trying to get ready to do this race. It's going to be interesting to watch this. If the draft is as powerful as we're looking at as far as the lap times are concerned, it doesn't matter where you really start. It's going to be where you're going to finish in this race.
Well, it's the classic quote from Talladega Nights, isn't it? You know, if you're not first, you're last.
Correct.
And
I've heard that before.
Oh yes, it comes out every single time, doesn't it? Pretty much. And I tell you what, a bit of a change in fortunes for Redford. Starting the back last time out Daytona, he's starting on the third row of the grid. He'll be one to watch out for. Doesn't have to do the work, but I mean, Charles, it's in some ways, especially for those drivers further down the field, it's a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Because if there's a big incident, it's just about being there at the right time, trying to, you know, pick a gap in the traffic of people spinning and pray that you make it through.
Yeah, it really is. I think you'll see a couple of the guys up front that know they've got really good pace. They'll try and get to the front and get clear of all the potential disasters in the mid-pack. The guys in the back will do their best to just keep looking forward and making sure that they can avoid any of the potential disasters in the middle pack.
We can drive his head around now. We're not far away from 65 laps of Michigan. It's the pace truck taking control. It peels off. And let's get ready to go racing from Michigan at the ARL Season 2 of the Truck Series as we go green, 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 and we go racing. And, well, Salander not getting the best of starts instantly, pretty much. He's got Redford hot on his tail, pushing him along. And now we begin. The two streams, as I tell you what, that's someone really running high up there in the background. There's one of the Alcantech cars. It's Blinks trying to find a bit of gap in the traffic there. They're trying to move up through the field. Littner pushing up 2 places in these early stages already. Great start from him, but that was all getting sideways there. That was, well, Salander, and he's losing a whole host of places as we're going 3 wide as everyone fans around and tries to make their way around him, Charles. But, wow, that could have been disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. There was great avoidance by the cars behind him to kind of give a little check up and let him move up the track and work their way, or move into the middle of the track and work their way around.
Salander starting on the front row, now finds himself down in 11th. Well, that could have been already, I mean, there's so much green flag running. Last time out at Daytona, it looked like we were already in for our first caution of the evening before we even completed lap 1, but Salander holding on to it, nobody collecting crucially, but what it means at the front end is we haven't got these 2 definitive lines, have we, Charles? It's just pretty much all one, and everyone tucked up behind Schnabel.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me so far. It looks like there's some too wide toward the mid-pack. It just really depends on how you practice. If you practice working multiple lines, you'll feel comfortable up there because of the way the track is banked. Lots of guys will want to run the bottom all the time, and once they get in that high line, it upsets the rear bit. You get some air off the wing, or off the spoiler, I should say. And some people are just not comfortable running that high line.
I'll tell you what, I saw Campbell there just start to lose the rear end a little bit, and it's dropped a couple of places for it in that 27, but luckily nowhere near as bad as, well, what we saw happen previously. Last time when at Roos, he's made his way up a couple of places. He's into 18 in that 48 machine right now. Sticks getting past Halfdarsson, the 2 Swedes trading places and just making their way through in these early stages. Lap 4 out of 65, and it's all looking a relative kind of fair. Charles, when it moves out into one line like this, it makes it a bit more easier for the drivers to manage and less likely of a potential caution.
Yeah, it helps when you can just basically focus on the car in front of you and not worry about somebody either above you or below you. And so I think that you'll see these guys line up nose to tail and get the toe off the car in the front and just ride around for a bit and just try and get to that midpoint of the race when you can get your fuel stop in and take your tires and then focus on trying to get the best position you can at the end.
Nice and calm, nice orderly affair. Salander's covered it. We covered a couple of places after moving wide, currently 2 wide right now. He's down in 8th place and has been testing out. Just got past McManus in the Auto Sports in that number 9 machine. He's currently 9th. Nice one there for number fans, but Redford running strong and not got the work to do like he had last time out. And starting to see it's a bit tricky for some of our drivers right now where we don't have those two clear definitive lines, because you see them, as soon as they move out of the slipstream and try and move up onto that higher line, Charles, they seem to be really struggling where they've got no one to help pull them along in front of them.
Yeah, it's you know, that's the thing about the draft is once you get out, it's like hitting a brick wall, but it's a brick wall there. And so you just basically come to a stop and all your momentum's gone.
Still green. Lap 7 out of 6.5. Schnabel leads from Newman. Blakesley running well in 3rd, and that's 17. Redford, Sticks, Blix, Halford Darson, Solander into 8th. McManus 9th, and Leitner running at your top 10. That's Nevery. Kittelman has just got past Campbell for 12th. Smiller 14th, and Sufi, Grande, Capel, Bruce, Gladden, and Gunnarsson rounding out your top 20. There's a few strikes starting to trade places. A bit more progress being made in that midfield. We look back from Schnabel, I tell you what, it's not far from Newman starting to push him along, and
yeah,
it's a bit of a tracky track, this, isn't it, Charles, to try and, you know, bump draft people, because
yeah,
there's so much banking, and, you know, so much of it is curve. I think, effectively, once you come into turn 3, you're pretty much, you know, turning all the way to the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I was watching that. Newman got a really good run out of the corner. It was a bit higher line than Schnabel in the lead, and was able to just get off the corner that much better. But yeah, then had to check up because yes, you're right. Bump drafting here, there's really just a backstretch. Other than that, you really try not to do that unless you've got a lot of trust in that other driver.
I'd see 3 definitive packs form right now. We've got our lead group there starting to pull away a little bit from Solander in the 40, who's 7th. And then we've got another group which ends at, well, that group ends at Nevery in 11th, and Kittelman currently in 12th. Really got his work cut out, and for these guys that are starting to get cut adrift, you know, they're outside of the draft zone, need to either decide to work together or they need to pray for a caution to bring them back into contention here, because it's going to compound, isn't it, Charles? And they're going to feel further and further away from the group in front of them.
Yeah, I think there was a slow truck in front that was kind of holding up that part of the group, and so they're working their way around him on the high side, and he will probably just kind of drop back in the pack somewhere and try and hang on.
See, it's just about a group in front of them going 3 wide right now. There's Landon McManus, Halford Darson, Nevery in there too as well. So they've sort of eased that back a little bit into 2 wide, but I can tell you, can see on that exit 2, can't you, Charles? There's a bit of a bump there, and you can see a couple of the drivers just having to put a few extra inputs in there to prevent the rear end from getting loose on them.
Yeah, it's this is a track, at least in the iRacing service, hasn't been resurfaced in a few years, so there's going to be some rough areas that they'll have to navigate during the race.
Of course, we've got the rescan of Indy as well now. That's just come out in the latest release, and haven't had a chance to drive it yet, but what I'm hearing is you know, it's right up there. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't get it sooner, because of course we had the road course, the rescan of that put in last season, but great to see we've got the Indy Oval, which will be visiting for the final round of the championship, all bang up to date, the latest version, and
yeah, that's going to be amazing.
It is, isn't it? I'm looking forward to that one, and I've spoken to a couple of the drivers that have driven it, and yeah, they've all reported back good things about it. I'm sure we're going to have some epic racing there, but I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to Bristol next time out. That place is amazing. It's like the modern equivalent of their Roman, gladiatorial amphitheatre.
Yeah, it's called the Colosseum for a reason.
It is indeed. I mean, there's really no other track like it as well. The 53, wow, storming through the middle there to get past the 9. McManus, who's losing a few places right now. The 77 having a good go of Grande, but can't quite get it done. And McManus, wow, how did you save that, Trevor McManus?
Nice catch.
Wow. I think he had his catcher's mitt out there, didn't he, to try and catch that one, didn't he? Because that would have ended an absolute disaster for him.
Yeah, maybe just lifted a little too much, and the rear got a little light and started trying to come around on it. But yeah, it was a great catch to save that truck.
That's the trouble with these trucks, isn't it? There's no weight to them over the rear of the vehicle. You know, that is the trouble with them. They are really loose at the rear, and I mean, that's going to be interesting when we present the 2 road courses that we've got in the series, Road America and Watkins Glen, because it's all about how the drivers manage that. You know, they can use it to their advantage to turn the truck in, but then equally, it could, you know, hamper them a little bit because we've got such a light and loose rear that we could, you know, it can be quite hard to control, can't it?
It definitely can. I've actually driven the truck on Watkins Glen, and it's a handful. It's a handful to say the least. These cars are obviously not designed for road courses, but they're getting a little better. The trucks obviously haven't had the update like the NASCAR Next Gens, so these are still a little old school. So lots and lots of sideways action. I expect nothing but probably chaos for the road courses, to be fair.
I tell you, it's going to be an interesting one to see as this midfield battle right now starting to form up with 2 lines, as you can see there. Wow, the 11 really getting some pace. That's Kittelman, the German, trying to make some progress. Now they seem to have got a bit of order coming towards them, haven't they, Charles? It seems, you know, they can see they're getting really cut adrift from the pack in front of them, and whereas there was a bit of battling going on, there seems to be a bit of working together happening right now to try and catch the group ahead, because they see they're just falling further and further behind right now. I mean, it's around about 1.2 seconds the gap between Leitner in 8th and Zalander in 9th. In 7th even.
Oh. Yep, so I was about to say Sufi probably needs to just tuck in, but apparently there are a couple cars behind them that had other ideas, and so it looks like they're trying to form a low line, which obviously is the fastest way around the track, is the shortest distance, but really works your tires a lot more. So you have to be very careful to get the tires overheated, and then that as we saw earlier, that rear end really gets loose, and that's much more pronounced.
I tell you, we're really starting to see the 48, the 27, and the 32 all starting to really work together right now. You can see them sort of, yes, trading places where one of them will get the run on the draft, move to the front of the group, the one in the front will pull onto the higher line and tuck back in behind them. They're just rotating around to try and drag this group further and further closer to the group ahead of them. I mean, it's not quite working right now, but it's going to be their best chance, isn't it? Because I mean, we're still green after 19 laps.
Yeah, they've got to start working together and try and get lined up and start making some time up on the front group. If the front group, though, obviously, if they're staying in line, it's going to be tough to catch them, because obviously they've got quite a bit of pace up at the front.
I'm just keeping one eye on our timing software as well, and the timing tab that you guys can see at home on the left-hand side of the screen. And that lead group, they're working together a bit themselves as well. They're, swapping places, moving around, and trying to pull themselves along right now. But we're still green. Lap 20 out of 65 here from Michigan. Blitz leads from Schnabel, Newman 3rd, Redford 4th. 6, Blakesley, Salander, also in that lead group. Leitner just dropping a little bit back right now, the 29. He's about 7/10 behind and in a bit of danger right now, falling out of that draft. He's right on the cusp of it. And then we've got this group here of Rusin, 9, Sufi, Kittelman, Hayden, Campbell, Hyatt, Halfordarsson, Nevry, Capel, Spitzmuller, Gunnarsson just off the back of it in 18th in the 33. Then it's Grande and Solo in the rear of this top 20.
I think now that Roos is at the front of that pack, I think he can play Pied Piper and try to lead the rest of that group back up to the front. But they're just going to have to stay in line and help him out.
So this is on board with Hutchinson. And, well, he's running well off the pace, unfortunately. He has pitted, though. He's gone early to the pit. So I think that might be one of the pit starters, potentially. And, I mean, when you're running by yourself, nobody to draft with, it's a lonely place out there in London Oval, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's about a half second off the pace from the front of him.
I think he just clipped the wall there. I saw a few sparks fly, and that's not going to help his cause. I mean, I know these trucks aren't exactly the most aerodynamic machines in the world anyway, as standard, but as soon as you get a bit of body damage to them, it just compounds the issue, especially when you're running alone.
Oh, definitely. You start crinkling that right front fender, and what aero it has goes away very quickly.
We're too wide once again. This is our lead group, Newman, Blix, Redford and Stick. We have got a caution, and what has... Oh, there's a big... Well, there's secondary compound there. Crouch into the back of Halford Darson, who was running slow on that low line. Already had front end damage, and oh, that's looking like a blown motor as well.
It does indeed.
Oh, that is not good. Let's take a look. So this on board Halford Darson. He's on the high line. Oh, coming high was the 27. Is he going to get tagged by them? No. So has he lost it by himself? All looking good right now. He's getting squeezed to the high. That's not too bad. There's plenty of room for him there. Is this where it ends? Got the 27 just below him. Still looking good here. They're squeezing up into a free wide as Halford Darson just... Oh, there you go. Tag there.
Tap.
Oh, wow. That was a big shunt.
In the left rear.
Wow. So I think that might have been Spitzmuller who just tagged him, and then you see the secondary impact from Crouch. We are yellow, and I tell you what, pit road is getting incredibly busy. Everyone filing in. There it was, Spitzmuller. There you go. That initial tag, and then pushed him back straight. But all that ended up doing was just careering him straight into the wall on the outside.
Yeah, it's what we were just talking about, how the rear is very loose already, and then you just get that slight touch on the left side, and that just kicks the rear around that much quicker. And then you get the secondary contact on the front, and then next thing you know, you're in the wall. Well,
pit road is a hive activity. Absolutely everyone in, bar Sariano, the only driver electing to stay out, but he was a lap down. So he's just carrying around, it seemed just there. The only trip to stay out as he's unlapping himself. And wow, what has happened? Well, Newman, Redford, they have come out of the front. So Redford's made up a couple of places on track. Well, lap 24 in this first caution. And let's have a bit of mention to another one of our sponsors while we're in this cautionary period, SDK Gaming. If you're looking to add a virtual live HUD to iRacing to show timing towers, enhance relative boxes, mini-maps, fuel calculations, and much more, then check out SDK Gaming. You utilise it to stream to Twitch with the most complete overlay on iRacing. You can also utilise it to broadcast your leagues and series like we do for all of our broadcasts here at Apex Racing TV. SDK Gaming allows you to sync your commentator team's cameras and focus on the driver and the overlays with your broadcaster. You can also utilise it to adjust your team strategy on the fly by utilising that fuel calculator and it being the most accurate live timing on iRacing. Make sure you check out SDK Gaming, and also to boot, they have a free 14-day trial. Well worth giving that one a go. That's SDK Gaming. Is everyone back out? Halford Darson still in the pit. I mean, I think that could potentially be a retirement for him. I mean, that was a blown engine, lots of damage. That's really not looking like his day. They do have one fast repair, but I'm not sure whether he's had that ticked when he's come into the pits, because I did see him pull to one side and jump to the pits, and Yeah, there we go. I don't think, of course, if he didn't have that activated before he did, he's going to have to sit there and have all those repairs done to his truck manually.
Well, that would be terrible. I will say this, that the caution came out at a good time for the 48 of Roos, because now instead of him being 4 seconds off, he's actually outside of 4th row. So it kind of resets this field, and so some of those trucks that were in the back that were moving forward to get a chance to actually fight up in the front for a bit.
And it's the great equaliser, isn't it, these cautioning periods, where it brings the whole pack back together. I'm just having a bit of a look at this on board from Roos, and look ahead of that, the pace truck. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure the lights were out, if my eyes don't deceive me, so we will be going green. Once again, there we go, we're on board with Newman. The lights are definitely off on the pace truck. We will be going green. Once again here from Michigan, it's pulling over to one side, it's going to come in. And now it's down to Newman to control the pace. Redford has to keep one eye on what's happening next to him and the track in front, as he can't go ahead. And I tell you what, Newman gets a brilliant restart as we go green, green, green once again at Michigan. And Redford tucking instantly down onto that low line, but Newman electing to go high.
Yeah, he had a great run there to start off the restart.
There's a bit of blinking going on in the midfield there, but everyone's sorting themselves up. But here comes Redford hunting down that low line. Everyone with fresh tyres on board. I tell you what, Hutchinson, what's our dream for him? Because, of course, he was running around at the back. Oh, there's a spin. I think we're going to have another caution. Here we go. Second caution.
I just caught that. I thought that just at the last second. Somebody with a spin in the back of the field.
So Mignot, one of the drivers involved, Brown Sariano as well. And I can't see any damage to any of those trucks. So I think they've avoided contact with each other and the wall, which is really, really crucial. But we are caution once again. And I'm sure we'll get hopefully a replay soon.
Yeah, that is the old NASCAR saying, right? Cautions breed cautions.
It is. Oh, completely. And this has just reinforced the point, hasn't it, Charles? Massively. And, well, I think the question is... Oh, no, there was a bit of a bump from Brown. So. Got the initial whack, didn't he? And I think that might have been Mignot ahead of him who gave him that wallop. But I'll tell you what, Brown, holding that one really well, because that could have been really disastrous for him. So there's Brown on the 8 on the high side. So, he came down low. Ooh. There you go. And it was the 14 that he ended up catching. He was just in a world of his own on that inside line. That was Sariano, the Italian. Now, a few drivers into the pitch. Crouch, Gladden. McManus is in, and Sariano too. Of course, Sariano is going to have that repair work done to his truck. Now, I don't think he managed to utilise his fast repair at the last one, so he can refresh that one and head straight back out again. So on board with him right now, as he's going for 4 tyres by the looks of that as well, isn't he? Yep, there we go, left side up.
Yep, once you start sliding them, then might as well get a new set if you've got the opportunity.
They're going to catch straight up onto the back of the pack, aren't they? And I tell you what, Halford Darson, he's managed to pick up the lucky dog, and just looking at where he is, he's still going to be a lap down, unfortunately. Actually, will he be on the lead lap? No, he is. Apologies, he's going to be on the lead lap. So I tell you what, despite being in pit row for, well, stationary for over 3 minutes, that couldn't have come at a much better time for him, because now he's putting back onto that lead lap and chance to try and make his way back through the field.
Yeah, it's just it's another one of those that, you know, you're in the back and it's just keeping an eye forward. If you've got the pace to get through a few cars, just kind of work, and you got plenty of time. Still have about half of the race left. So just kind of work your way up, and very methodically, and don't put anybody in harm's way, and try and stay out of harm's way yourself.
So coming from the back, you mentioned that biggest climber so far is Caitlin Hape, who's up 16 places, the RSR car driver, and that 56. Also big gainers, Andrew Roos, he's up 12 positions, starting 20th, up into 8th. Jonas Gunnarsson in the 33, he's up into 14th as well, the Alcantech driver. So some drivers out there making big gains in these early stages. It's now, Charles, it's all about whether they can take that and then kick on from here and improve even further.
Yeah, exactly. Is okay. So now that we've got some spots, let's solidify that, and once again, just keep the truck clean, stay out of trouble, and try and minimize your tire wear. As long as and the better you can keep your tires, the quicker you're going to be at the end of the race.
Who's going to manage their tyres the best? We've still got over half race distance left to go here at Michigan. Still chance for the drivers to make some progress. Yes, well, it doesn't really come alive until that last 10 to 5 to go. And who is going to come out victorious? We're going to have another caution. Well, pace truck pulling in. Redford controlling the field in that 31. As we get ready to go racing once again. We wait for Redford to control it, and we are green, and Redford puts foot through the floor. Tell you what, the 88 and the Schnabel right behind him, following him right along through, pulling himself up into second. The 7 and Newman on that high line, but drops straight down to the low to try and recover some of the places he's lost.
Yeah, great job by Newman to get down and kind of block off the rest of that pack from coming by on the high side.
Completely slammed the door right in their face, didn't he? And it works a treat for him. It's there in that 95 on the low. He's got the 37 on the outside, and that sticks. Basically, have been pretty much together for a lot of the race. As we go down, we're on to another lap. 31 complete. Everyone just settling themselves down. It's trying to prevent another caution potentially here. I mean, ideally for the drivers, talking about that tyre management, especially for those that have maybe run a low quite a bit. So we've got a bit of a free wide there entering into turn 3. So that's going to be a tight in the midfield there. That's Campbell, one of them, Haid, and Gunnarsson is the other truck involved in that one, but banging doors as well for good measure on the exit. But yeah, those drivers who've run low for a lot of this section of the race, I tell you what, I think they could really pray for a cautionary period around probably about lap 45, 50 to see them home, get some fresh tyres on board.
Yeah,
I think so. It could frustrate a few of those guys who've maybe managed their tyre wear a bit better by running that higher line, but still managed to keep themselves in the fight.
Yeah, I think as you're seeing here, you've got 2 very distinct lines, sometimes 3. You've got some guys running the high line, some guys running the low line. The guys that are running the low line or down on the apron, as the 7 truck's doing, that'll definitely cause a lot more tire wear. So you won't get quite the longevity by running down there for the rest of this race. So it will be a test of more of a test of skill than it will be equipment if you stay down on the bottom of the track.
I'll tell you what, the 29, it was well held from them, Norbert Leitner.
Whoop.
Oh, that's going to surely be a caution, a big wreck. And there you go, yellow flag out. Wow. The 17 spinning an 11 as well, making contact with another one that's a 25 on the inside there of Jason Nevery. Wow, that is the 7. That is a big incident for them of Sven Newman after running so well in their Ford, and looks like, I tell you what, engine damage I reckon there as well. It looks like he's puffing smoke.
It definitely looks that way.
So it's on board with Gladden, and wow, there was a rejoin there, and that nearly, of course, a bit of a catalyst. That's Gladden. Wow, trying to pick his way through the trucks. Few people stopped on that high side, nearly made contact with one or two of them. Glad to be up to one relieved person to make his way through. So this is on board with Lightner, who was down low. You got Redford in the 31 just ahead of us, and just got squeezed, didn't he?
The truck down low just kind of lost the front, pushed up the track, and 3 and 1 doesn't work. So so that's you hate to see it because these guys were running a really good race, but. Yeah, it's tough to go 3 wide around through here. So that's what that was, essentially.
I'll tell you what, Euclid, the only driver electing not... Sariano's carried on as well. McManus, Mignot, they've all gone for track position, whereas the whole field, bar Brandon Blakesley right now, we'll see if he's going to head... Oh, no, I think he's carrying on as well. I'll tell you what, everyone else electing to dip into the pits, bar some 5 of our drivers. So that's going to be tough for them. I mean, can they make it work right to the end, Charles?
I mean, that feels like a real stretch for the tires, but the longer it goes caution, the more that you can stay up front. So, you keep getting these caution periods every 4 to 5 laps. And then that kind of, you get more heat cycles on the tires, and that kind of equals everybody out. It's a bold strategy. I don't know that I would do that, but I think I would have came in and I think it's a little early to be trying to stretch the tire use, because this kind of feels like it's going to be one of those races where there's going to be a late caution. So that's what I would
prediction, do. Charles. You're putting your hat in the ring for a late caution here.
Yeah, I'm thinking inside of 10 laps, I think we'll see another yellow, and then we'll have people come in and try and take 4 or 2 or whatever they need to get, and that's when you'll see a lot of the strategy start playing out.
Wow, there we go. Bold predictions from Charles there. Expected a caution inside the last 10. Will we get it? Well, we've got a few laps left. We've got around about 29 to be precise. Around 30 enough to go.
I mean, if I'm wrong, it's not the first time I've been wrong. I've been wrong before. So,
Exactly. It's not the first. It won't be the last, I'm sure. Exactly. It's what us commentators do best. And, well, I mean, this is where it is tricky, isn't it? Because you've got the guys behind you are all going to be on cold tyres. And that group ahead need to work together and try and open up a bit of a gap for themselves over the following pack behind, because otherwise, I mean, they're surely going to find themselves getting enveloped. And as we've seen before, running at the front, you're punching a hole in the air for absolutely everyone, and anyone behind with the slipstream ends up making the pass.
Yeah, it's true. You are kind of punching that hole in the air, but you're also avoiding all the chaos behind you. So so I can understand the reasoning for just staying out and trying to get up front, get a little track position. But so now you've got drivers that have came in and taken tires, so they've got about 8 or so laps better tires than you do, which is probably not that much now. But in another 10 to 15 laps, it will be significant.
The pace truck is in. Euclid controls the pace as we go green, green, green once again from Michigan. I tell you what, he's in the background. Schnabel trying to get a run, and look at the Alcantech guys on the outside. That high line working well. They were quick to react, and they're pretty much occupying us. Oh, we've gone yellow once again. You called it, Charles. Cautions, precautions, and we're into the 4th caution. That is Caitlin Hayden, who's running incredibly well. They've made up a lot of places, and a lot of hard work instantly undone.
Yeah, this takes one spin. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to the truck, so just a quick check up, and then So that was basically just people checking up.
Hold on. Yeah, he'd already spun, and that looked like where they were running to the line as the restart. Now, he's not got any damage to his truck. He was running about 8th. So this is the restart. There's Redford in the 31. So he moved high, moved slow, all looks good. And the 11, look at the run that they got. Trying to sneak. Oh, this is going to go 4 wide. There we go, netcode contact. And I think that's what threw the caution. And then it was all the mayhem behind of people spinning, and that just compounded the issue.
Yeah, for sure. It was just, now it's just a matter of just trying to avoid everything. Some people checking up, some people diving down low or up high. And so that's when you get those secondary accidents.
Clowns to the left of me, Joker's to the right, and here I am, Charles, stuck right in the middle with you.
That's right.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, that group that didn't pit under the last caution here at the front end, Euclid, Soriano, McManus, Blix, Solo was another one, Mignot as well. I think, well, Mignot's elected to come into the pits, but all the others have elected to carry on again. I'm a little bit surprised by that one. I mean, is that the right move? I mean, they're gambling here, aren't they? They're really gambling.
They really are. It's just a matter of, okay, I've got the track position now. I just have to try and hold the track position. So what they're hoping for is a, like I said, that late race caution where everybody's going to come in. Of course, I say everybody. There'll be a couple people who try and stay out to try and get the track position at the end of the race and try and make it work. But that for these that stayed out every time, they kind of need that they kind of need that long run here for 10 or 12 laps to just try and eke some time out of this race.
Charles, we need to actually no, I thought it was Redford. I was hearing something over the radio that Redford, I thought, might have got done for speeding in the pits, but in fact, I think it might be Caitlin Hayden who's got done for speeding in the pits, but she's still stationary right now. Yeah, at 50-second stationary, I think, you get 40 seconds for, add it to your pit time for speeding in the pits. I think she's been caught out there. I mean, it's going to be close, but she's really going to put pedal to the metal to try and catch up with the pack, otherwise she's going to find herself
for sure
right adrift.
And looks like, unless there's an iRacing glitch, it looks like she's still got damage on the front of the truck, which means she may have already taken her fast repair.
It looks that way, doesn't it? I tell you what, this well spotted there, Charles. There is a bit of damage to it, isn't it? You can see just slightly, the paintwork not looking 100%. A few creases in that front bumper. Wow, that's going to compound things, definitely. Interesting one for Spets Muller as well, one of the drivers that lets to come in then. But has managed to get himself back up onto the lead lap as well with the lucky dog by the looks of things. So double whammy for him because he was a lap down before the last cautionary period, but they're out on the back straight away. Yeah, he should catch up with him. It's not too far indeed, but the lights are out on the pace truck, so we'll be going green once again. Can we make it last more than a few laps this time around, Charles? That's the big question, isn't it, really?
That is the big question. Let's hope for a nice, 20-lap green flag run here.
You say 20 laps. I see what you've done there because we've got 25 to go, and that ties in nicely with your prediction.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. That was almost like conveniently calculated there. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. So, okay, right to the pit lane entrance. Pace truck going to be pulling in any second. There we go. Moves down to the low line. Diving in. So we get ready to go green once again here under this fourth yellow that we're experiencing as we are green. Once again, the 14 caught napping there. Soriano getting absorbed into the pack behind. We've got 3 wides happening. It's getting a bit close. Everyone jostling for position. The Alcantech cars trucks making their way through here. Soriano starting up on that front row. Now down to 10th. Oh, well, it just shows that restart. If you haven't got, you're not fully aware and just get caught napping that slight little bit, you lose so many places, can't you?
Yeah, for sure. Then I was watching, the truck go back through the middle of the pack. Looks like that Eichler just got swamped going through the corner. He's already fallen back He's got a problem? Is it like 14th?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Euclid really struggling here. Do you think that's a little bit of those tyres starting to come in? I mean, he's on old tyres.
He is.
And do you think that's that coming into play right now, Charles? That they're starting to fall off the cliff?
I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't think so. I think that I would have thought that you could have got a nice, 30-lap run, 35-lap run out of the tires. But it could be just enough of a difference with the people who came in a couple of cautions ago that took tires that it's just starting to play out for them. So,
I mean, he's got the oldest tyres out there of anyone. He stopped all the way back on lap 23. Closest to that is McManus, who's currently running, 6th in the 9. He stopped on lap 28, so he's got, some 4-5 laps of fresher tyres compared to Euclid. There's someone down low there. Was that Spets Muller potentially, I think? Yes, it was, in the 53. As I think he was just letting the pack come through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he's still got damage on the front. Also, he's just trying to make laps and stay out of everybody's way.
As well, Alcantech taking control right now, locking out the top 5 with Blix, Gunnarsson, Schnabel, Zalander, and Solo. As there is Brown, another one with plenty of damage to his truck, and well, it didn't work out for them last time out at Daytona. Alcantech, they locked out the top 7 positions in qualifying, but they're in full control of this race right now, Charles, with 22 to go.
That team's looking strong, and they just moved to the front, and so now you've got, they've got 5 trucks in front, and they're starting to work together. Obviously, they've been working together, but now they're going to try and pull away from the rest of the pack.
I mean, can they do this? Some fresh air starting to develop between themselves and Norbert Leitner, who's managed to come back up through the pack, back up into 6th right now in that 29. He's got McManus behind him. But these guys really need to work together to show that those Alcantech trucks don't get away from them. It's a good day for Chevrolet as well. They're occupying the top 7 right now. Nice Toyota is Sufi in 8th. A low forward of Newman, who, let's not forget, he fell right to the back of the pack after that early, I think it was in caution 2, wasn't it? And he's climbed his way back up through the field, having a bit of a similar race that Redford had last time out. Talking of Redford, he's up into 16th again in the 31. Recovering well, but probably with another caution to play that strategy as well, it's got a wall of trucks and, wow, trying to squeeze it free wide. Oh, there we go, we're going to have a caution. There's a big wreck.
Big crash.
Oh, the curse of the commentator strikes. I was saying how Redford, it was all going so well for him, but he's won the trucks into the wall. There's so many diving to pit row. There's further contact. The 25 getting tapped there by someone trying to head in. And I think that might have been Leitner who was trying to squeeze down. It was Leitner trying to squeeze down into pit row. Making contact, and Blakesley another one caught up in that in the 17.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the replay on this and see where all this madness started.
It was getting a bit mad out there. I mean, normally you don't start to see the free wides, the more advantage moves until you see the last 10 to go. But they were starting to all jostle for position in that midfield, especially through it. Well, there's Leitner. Wow, he's already spinning. And he's like a pinball the way he's being pushed around and hit and smashed up there. This is from more from Halford Darson's point of view. And there's Leitner. Oh, so Leitner just lost the rear, I think, did he? Or did he get a tap from behind? It looked like his rear was just going by himself.
Yeah, it'd been interesting to see from the view from behind him. There we go.
Let's take a look. So, did he get the tap from behind? Oh, I think he might have done. It was from the 9, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It did look like he got hit from behind, but couldn't tell if he maybe checked up mid-corner a little bit for the truck in front of him, or if it was just the 9 carrying just a bit more speed to the corner.
I tell you what's interesting strategies going on right now. Manus, who stopped last on lap 28, and Sariana on 27, they've elected to stay out. But the midfield, pretty much, they've all dipped down into pit row. I tell you what, Redford, despite carrying all that damage and one of the cars getting beaten up in that big wreck, it's still managed to work out okay for him. He's in 14th. I mean, that's a big stroke of luck. I mean, massively helped by all the trucks around him heading into pit row. Euclid, one of the drivers who had incredibly old tyres, he's dived down to pit row. Leitner still stationary. Likewise is Crouch. These are going to be some of the drivers. Blakesley as well. Kittleman now a lap down with Spitzmuller. Wow. Nevry as well. Still stationary there too. I'll tell you what, some drivers definitely losing out big time, and maybe where they've used that, fast repair early on, Charles, it's now starting to bite them.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's going to be lots of damaged vehicles on the track for the rest of this race. But I'm interested, Euclid and a couple other the drivers who stayed out early now are on the shoes on the other foot. So now they've came in, they've got fresh rubber. And so now they potentially can work their way back up the field because now they've got faster tires than the cars in front.
I just spotted the lights are off on the pace truck. That's going to be in this time around. But let's have a bit of a mention. Something a little bit exciting that's here happening at Apex Racing TV. Going to throw a link up in the YouTube chat to the open day that we're having at the Apex Sim Racing Centre. You can buy yourself some free tickets to join the competitions, the barbecue that we've got going on. You can meet some of the, well, I would say stars. I'm not sure if I'll go quite that far, but myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, will be there. Likewise, I know Seb Bosch-Williams, another of our commentary team, he's going to be tending to. All of the Apex Racing team, they're going to be on site as well. Chance to meet all of the drivers. It's going to be a fun-filled day. Make sure you check out the link, register yourself, get some free tickets to come along, join the fun. It's going to be an absolute epic day here.
Hey, save me some barbecue. I'm all about the barbecue.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. What do you love on the barbecue, Charles?
I'll take ribs basically any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. The pace truck is in. Wow, we got 17 to go here in Michigan. Are we going to see another caution? Let's find out, because we're going green, green, green once again. And Alcantech, well, instantly fanning out, locking out, controlling this race. But I tell you what, McManus in that 9, he's having none of it, Charles. He's getting stuck right in with this group, and he's not letting go of them. He's trying to stay in the fight. I mean, but these guys around him, they've got 6-lap newer tyres compared to Marinus, but still, I tell you what, he's fighting them, and he's fighting hard, and he's making progress as well.
He absolutely is. He's running that low line for all it's worth, and he knows if he can wedge in between two of those trucks, he can stay up front, and then maybe something happened at the end of the race.
I tell you what, you can see the tactics being played out right now by Alcantech, because they're remaining line astern in a neat, accurate line, all helping out for one another and preventing McManus in that 9 from breaking into that line. I tell you what, Salander at the rear of that train really, really fighting one out. So they're going 3 wide in the background into 3. What is sight? Redford's in amongst in that 31. The 7 in there too of Newman. You started well, ran well early on, and they expect them to be working together. It's getting dicey. We're even going to have a 4 wide across the line potentially here, Charles.
Yeah, Redford needs to get out of the middle of that group quickly. We've seen already that 3 and 4 wide don't really work, and you can see them a little dicey in front of him. He needs to get past this group and try and hook on to the back of another car and try and get to the front.
I tell you what, the 56 have hated. It's looking a bit loose and weaving around a little bit there. Almost banging doors with, I think it was McManus ahead of them. He's losing a lot of time right now. and dropping like a stone through the order. Well, after battling with the Alcatech guys for that top 5, is now falling further and further down. There's, ooh, who's that on the apron there, Charles? I didn't quite catch who that was. A couple of guys out on the apron.
Yeah, I think there's just maybe a couple of...
yeah, it's the back markers. I think
nails.
Brown and Leitner. I think they're rejoining the track there. Just trying to keep in the fight, keep themselves alive to be in with a fighting chance. Got 13 to go here from Michigan. There's, oh, that's getting a bit close there. You can start to see it's getting close. Oh, there's one in the wall. That's the 25 of Nevry. Are we going to see? No, we are still green as he kept it together. I'm amazed by that one, Charles. I thought we were going to see your portion.
Yeah, smoke coming out the back, though. He's going to have to bring that in. I don't think he's going to be able to make it another couple of laps. So he's got to bring that to the pits.
Let's take a look. Oh, wow. You saw him sway across the track there. I mean, well held from Nevry. I mean, how he managed to hold that one, I'm not too sure.
No, I have no idea. But it was great driving by him, though, to manage to not spin back up on the track.
I've got 11 to go. Time to find out, Charles. Was your prediction right? Are we going to have a yellow here in the final 10 laps from Michigan?
I still think so. I still think there's lots of drama left in this race. What I am seeing is Redford's now back. He's inside that group of the Alcantech cars, and he's fighting his way back up to the front. He's obviously he's on rails at this point.
I tell you, that 31 Toyota has got a lot of pace in it. We've seen it earlier in the season. The hands of Redford, he's really just pulling epic performance out of it. And I tell you what, as Blix and Schnabel move down low, he's going to squeeze Gunnarsson out high, and he's going to pick up the slipstream. Yeah, well, he's made ahead of Gunnarsson. Look at that. And he's now into the slipstream of Blix and Schnabel. And where McManus wasn't able to break into that line of Alcantech trucks, Redford has managed to do it. I tell you what, this is engaging for some real scintillating stuff and a real epic finish.
And he's getting such really good runs out of the corners. He's making up lots and lots of time. He's already down low to get another spot.
Let's remember, he took tyres under the last caution, so his tyres are a lot fresher. They're only 10 laps old, whereas 22-lap-old tyres for the Alcantech trucks, who are occupying first, maybe soon to be second. I think Redford's just going to use that newer rubber and just stream his way down. You can see the pit stop strategy right now in your bottom right corner, and that's what has taken Redford to the front. It was all about that strategy, Charles. And look, they just got no answer for them. Blix and Schnabel have just been left floundering, those Chevrolets.
He absolutely that's the tires are the difference. And, you get a nice new set, and now you're the king of speed.
8 to go. It's getting tight out there. There's going to see some bigger moves. People getting more adventurous. Or are we going to stay green right to the end? We're on board with the Canadian Campbell in the 27. That is Halford-Darson. And also, I tell you what, Campbell, another one of those runners that have got the newer rubber. And what looked like a brilliant bit of strategy, get themselves to the front for Alcantech, locking out those top positions. Everyone who stopped on the last caution, which is pretty much everyone, bar the Alcantech guys, and right now coming through the field, and they're eating them for breakfast.
Yeah, really. It's I did see that also that the 81 is back in the top 10, so he's in 7th. So that's a great recovery drive from him because he was obviously a lap down earlier in the race, got the lucky dog, and he's just managed to work his way back up to the front. So that's obviously great driving.
It's a cracking result, but I think, Charles, it's how long he can hold on to it, because he, like his teammates in front of him, all running with much older rubber. We got 6 to go here from Michigan, and look at the lead. but the 31 is pulling out now. 7 attempts. He's got himself out in front. He's doing it all by himself, and he's just walking away. As you said, Charles, that much fresher rubber is the difference right now. Make that 8 tenths of a second, that gap.
Yeah, he's just checked out. That's just all you can say about it. Just absolutely checked out. And I don't think there's anybody in the field that's got an answer for it. I think Campbell has made a good run, but I think he's kind of stuck now behind those Alcantech trucks.
I think he's spot on there. He just seems to have hit almost a bit of a roadblock, hasn't he? And well, I think he needed to get the move done early on, didn't he? And push his way through. And right now, it's with 5 to go. It's starting to look quite tricky. That's the difference in the rubber, the big difference starting to equalise out. Having said that, the gap up front extending further, up to 8 tenths of a second now. Running out of time for your prediction here, Charles, for the late yellow.
Yeah,
we
well,
really
once
are,
again,
aren't we?
like I said, yeah, we really are, and that's fine. Like I said, I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being wrong when they're racing this hard, so it's all good.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. Wow, look at the gap at the front. Now it's nearly a second now. In fact, I think there you go. It is a second. In fact, 1.2. In fact, Redford in the 31 just walking away right now. As Campbell starting to try and make a bit of progress.
Yeah, he's got a little help behind him.
He needs, I tell you what, he needs all the help he can get in that 27. But I tell you what, Hayder, he was caught up in one of those early caution periods, started near the back of the grid, really making some strong progress right now. Running high there, that's the 25. Yep. That's one of the lap trucks, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's never it.
Yeah, so Hayden actually is on the same tire strategy as Campbell, but she's still got that damage on the front end, so she can't really push as well as Campbell can.
Free to go. 3 more chances to make some progress, and it's getting a bit leery out there. These fights are already going to intensify. You can see visually. Look at the gap that 31 has got over the rest of the field. They've checked out. Just needs to bring it home right now to Redford, but it's all about this fight behind them. And right now, Campbell making progress. He's picked up one of the Alcantech, Halford Darson in the 81. That's him dispatched off. As I think, I've just heard something on the radio. I'm not sure if there's this. We're still green here. We've got 2 to go. As no, caution's out. You called it, Charles. There you go, right at the depth. 6th caution, yellow flag. Wow.
Well, I was kind of hoping that we finished under green, but
this is on board with Blakesley, and he's. I think something's happened to Brown. Well, Brown's already around. So here we go. This is on board with Brown. This is 29 ahead of us of Leitner. You can see the understeer, can't you?
Yeah.
Where those older tyres are starting to bite a little bit. Oh, well, he sort of came down a little bit and maybe didn't expect Leitner to see him, to have him so close there, I think.
Yeah, that was kind of strange, actually. It did kind of look, maybe he came down and maybe the other truck kind of moved up a little bit, but obviously both trucks can't be on the same part of the track.
That they can't indeed. And we've got a first green, white, checkered. We've got 2 more attempts of green, white, checkered before we will then just run to the finish. Can we make it through, Charles, on the first one? It's gonna. I tell you what, Redford, work cut out now, and he's elected to dip in, and so has pretty much the whole field. Well, no, I'll tell you what, the fake from the 40 there of Solander. Wow, that was devious.
That's interesting.
One who may be good in this is, I tell you what, Sticks and Grundy, because they stopped on lap 47, but this is a massive gamble here from Solander in that 40 truck, because he is running right now, Charles, on 31 lap old tyres. Himself and Sven Newman, the lone Ford in the 7. The only ones not to pit, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be interesting. As Redford's lost out big time in that round of stop.
Redford took 4, and then Campbell, Solo, Blix looked like they took 2 each. So they got the extra 4 seconds, which got them back in front of Redford. So now Redford's really behind the 8 ball.
I tell you what, right now, it feels like a game of craps, doesn't it, Charles? You know, you've got the dice, you know, in your cup, you've shaken them, you've blown on them, you're just about to roll them, and you're going to find out, is it going to work out for you? We've got 3 different strategies going on right now. We've got drivers who've elected to stay out, which is first through 5th. So that's Solander, Styx, Grande, Mignot, who's back up in the fight once again after yo-yoing up and down through the field. Newman in there too. I do worry for Newman and Solander though, because they, like I said, they're running on 31 lap old tyres. Then behind them, like you said, you got Blix and Solo, who just took 2 tyres. Actually, so did Campbell as well. Took 2 tyres. And then Redford, the first of the runners, who took 4. Schnabel, Gunnarsson, and Hayden also taking 4 as well.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a lot of mixed strategies, but that's kind of what you expect in these races.
What would you have gone for, Charles? What would you have done?
I think, well, it depends on when I pitted last. If I'd pitted on lap 34, I probably would have came down and took 4 just to be safe. If I was on lap 47, I think I might have gambled the way Styx and Grande did. So I think that what we may see is Santiago, it may be a little bit of a cork in the bottle on the high line. So I'm not real confident about getting through this green-white checker without having another caution.
No, especially with those 2 trucks in there, Solander and Mignot, Newman, who are running on such old tyres. They, like you said, I think they're going to be the corks in the bottle, aren't they? They're going to be the interesting ones to watch. Equal, I think Styx and Grande, as you said, they're the interesting ones. I think well worthy of that gamble. You know, running on less than 20 lap old tyres, but the pace truck's in. Let's find out who is going to take the victory. Are we going to make it through to the end without another? Gosh, we're wrecking already. We haven't even made it to the line. Wow. The 55 and the 95 caught up in that.
Yeah, I think the 55 just lit the rears up on the start and just turned sideways, and that was pretty much the end of that.
Oh, it was Mignot and Blix, wasn't it? I mean, was there contact there, or was it just lighting up the tyres? I mean, Mignot, one of those drivers on the old tyres.
Yeah, I don't think there was contact before he turned. I think that contact was after.
So this is on board with Mignot. Let's find out. Oh, yeah, you called it absolutely right there, Charles. Just lit him up, didn't he? And just nearly stuck it straight into the wall by himself.
Yeah, you hate to see it because he played a really good strategy game and he was up in the top 5, and that would have been a really good result. But just the curse of the old tires gets you.
Wow. Looks like Brown has picked up the lucky dog here, so that's worked out a treat. Someone who's been in the wars a lot, has kept himself in the fight by keeping running, and now finds himself back on the lead lap to Steve Brown in that 8 machine. Good number, that's the number I tend to run. Enjoying that one, Steve Brown. Also a fellow Brit in the Chevrolet, although I'm more of a Ford runner myself. The quintessential all-American truck, really, isn't it? I mean, because it's something frightening, like one of those is sold like every 20 seconds, and for a truck that's pretty much just available in North America, that is a frightening rate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ford the F-150's been around for, been the best-selling truck for, I don't know, 30 years or something like
I
that.
think, well, I was going to say before the dinosaurs, I think, pretty much.
Yes.
It's been around that long and been the best selling in that length of time as well. There's everyone checking up, just sorting themselves out here. Pace truck out as we are in our 7th caution, our 2nd green and white checkered. We've got one more left to go. And then after that, we will be going green all the way to the end. Can we make it through? That is the big question. Well, while we wait to find out, let's have a mention to another one of our sponsors here for this series. It's Apex Racing Academy. They have 29 data packs of setups, track guides. They've also integration with VRS, Virtual Racing School, another one of our sponsors here at ARL Trucks. It's also integrated, as I mentioned, integrated with VRS, and they also have their weekly group coaching sessions, which I know work absolutely excellent. Well, one of our fellow commentators, Austin Knight, a few sessions in the TCR and found bags of times, big improvements. They're well worth doing. And much more. So make sure you check out Apex Racing Academy if you're looking to go faster out on track. Wow. Nobody really electing to stop, understandably, under this caution. So it's neutralised. Solander, I mean, it's just... I know we've had a few cautionary periods for those tyres, but they've been through a lot of heat cycles, heat cycles even. Newman's still in there as well with their old tyres. And then you've got everyone pretty much lined up behind them. Well, I mean, it's whether the likes of Solo, Redford, Gunnison, Halfadarsson can make progress early on, I think. Because otherwise, I see Styx and Grande pulling away with this one.
Yeah, I think that you may be right. I think it just depends on what kind of start Redford gets on the outside. And if he's able to get clear of a couple of those trucks really quickly, he may have a chance. But it's going to be hard to, if Solander can get a good start, get a clean start, it's going to be hard to pass him within 2 laps.
Well, Charles, lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to be going green here once again. Let's get ready to find out as everyone just forming up down the back straightaway, entering in the banking. When we get to find out who's going to be crowned victory in round 2 of the championship. There's some big, bold moves out there, some big, bold strategies. What's going to work for our drivers? I'll tell you what, there's a big pack of cars right behind with fresh rubber outside of our top 4 of Solander, Styx, Grande, and Newman. The pace truck is in. Let's get ready to go racing once again here in Michigan. As we go, green, 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 and already the 7 of Newman moving high, and that's not going to help him on that old rubber, because he's going to get enveloped by that gaggle, that train of fresh rubber trucks that are coming through here, and Redford storming down low, but he's being squeezed in the middle. There is Grande. As we're going forward, I tell you what, those fresh rubber trucks are really pushing their way through and making their moves early on.
Yeah, Redford just made a great run down on the bottom of the track to get that track position.
He's going right at the high side, the long way round on the 40. They bang doors, but look at all this wrecking in the background. We're going to have another yellow here. And wow, it's all going to reset, Charles.
Wow. I thought we had a chance for that one. It looked like there was going to be a great finish at the end of this race. So we'll reset and we'll try it again.
Well, I'll tell you what, Solo, he in the 13, after that bit of contact that Solander and Redford made in the 40 and 31, he got an absolute blinding run. Just stormed down the low side where he could see that big gap happening for him. So this is on board from Redford's point of view. There you go. That's the move done, and that is what got Solo through and up some positions and up a row at the restart, more crucially.
Yeah, this is going to be a wreck.
27 got a bit twitchy and a bit nervous there. He saw him just dart out to the outside, and Sariano had a good viewpoint that kept low and kept safe. There you go.
Oh.
Wow, and then it was contact Sufi in the 32.
Yeah, there's
Straight
nowhere to
into
go.
the. Well, it didn't, you know, the sliding 27. And, wow, Campbell after running after. Well, I mean, he recovered well. The strategy's starting to work together a bit more for him as well. And then with that fresh rubber, it's amazing that he looks. I mean, he started to slide, caught it, and then got spooked, didn't he, by that truck on the inside of him, and then shot up high, which is then set up the truck once again, and well, that's all she wrote.
Yep, that was pretty much the end of that. I just, you know, yeah, it looked like he managed to catch the first one, and it just would not. He was going to spin one way or the other. The truck had just made up his mind. It didn't matter how many times he tried to catch it.
Gladden getting the lucky dog there. It's going to bring him back up onto the lead lap. Into the pits, so Newman Sticks, who were running near the front. Let's see, those tyres aren't going to see them through to the end. Campbell obviously into the pits as well. Still got, I think, oh, has he run out of fuel as well? That's not good. I mean, this is one thing to take into equation, isn't it, Charles? That with all these extra green, white checkers, who's got enough fuel to make it to the end?
Well, you would think that the guys who pitted on lap 65 managed to add enough fuel to cover the 3 green, white checkers, whether they needed it or not. The guy, Solander, that pitted at lap 34, he may be close. You don't know. Grande pitted at 47, is running 5th. He may be close. The rest of the cars look like they're going to be in pretty good shape, I think.
Well, I mean, this is where it's a tricky conundrum, isn't it? As we've got a few more peeling in. Brown has headed to pit row. Nevery and Blakesley, they've all headed in too. So we've still got a lap or two here under caution to go. And I tell you, these are nervous times, aren't they, for Solander in that 40? Because the more these keep getting extended, and it's eating into his fuel, and as much as he'll be trying to save it, you know, dip in the clutch, using minimal revs in high gear, this 8th caution is the last thing he would have wanted to see, because, well, it's got to be incredibly close, but then equally the drivers behind them, if maybe they've, you know, not quite, maybe counted for 1 or 2 green-white checkers, haven't gone for the full ones, just to try and, you know, make that truck that little bit lighter, give them that slight advantage, Charles.
Yeah,
there could be a few others dicing in with Def in there.
It is absolutely true. I think Solander, yeah, kind of, you know, he may be trying to sip fuel around these laps under caution. But you know, to me, I think if you get this sense of, if you're pitting late and you've been in this and you had, you know, 6 cautions during the race, you kind of get the sense of, I probably need to be prepared for 3 green, white checkers. At least in my opinion, that's what I would be doing. It's like, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm covered.
Well, Charles, let's find out. We've had all of our green, white checkers. We're going to be through right to the finish here at Apex Racing TV. Don't go anywhere. Solander controls the pace, and we go green, green, green. Solar and Redford duel it out. They're on fresh rubber. It's going to be about those two. Wait for Solander, just get enveloped. But it is all of his teammates right behind him. He's going to be helping them as he shuts the door down low on Redford. He's just going to drive right around the outside of him as we're 3 wide here in Michigan on the exit of turn 2. And now it's the drag down the back straight as Redford pulls up high, but you can see there's 3 wides in that second row as well as he swoops down. Solander just trying to hug that low line as best as he possibly can, but that old rubber not helping him whatsoever. And now Gunnarsson pulling through, and it's going to be a fight between him and Redford as white flag in the air. 1 lap left here to go from Michigan, and who's going to take it? Is it going to be Redford? Is it going to be Gunnarsson? 31 versus 33, the 31 on the low of Redford, and they're pulling away, but can someone, oh, they're wrecking in the background. There's a big wreck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all caught up in that, but we're still going to carry right through to the end, and now is the straight duck fight. 31 versus 33. The 73 is catching of Hutchinson, though. What sort of a run is he going to get? Surely this is just Redford's to lose right now. Gunnison trying to find a way through. Low, high, can't find it as they all fight their way to the line. But Redford's going to take it here from Michigan over Gunnison. Hutchinson gets third, and Halfordarson in the end has to settle to fourth in the 81. Wow, Charles. Wow, what a finish.
What a great ending. Redford just put the truck exactly where he needed to put it to get, through those 2 or 3 cars into the front, and was able to get a good enough run out of the corners to keep Gunnarsson in check.
I mean, look at just what sort of a fight it was. I mean, in that midfield, there's cars everywhere, wasn't there? Everyone trying to find a bit of space. And it was always going to happen. There was the 40 and the 35, which I think came together. And that's what started it all off. Wow.
Ooh.
So the 14 really got beat up, didn't they?
Yeah,
Sariano. Sure. Wow. What a finish. So much to unpack here from Michigan. And here come... Well, it's surely going to be some victory donuts. There we go, lighting up the rears, and around he goes. That is your winner, Mark Redford, in the 31 Toyota. Redemption for last week. Let's take you through your classified results. Gunnarsson, of course, picking up second in the end, only 400ths of a second at the line. Hutchinson third, Halfordarson fourth. Sticks in the end, recovered well to come home. I'll tell you what, himself, Sticks and Gunnarsson stopped late. It worked well for them in the end. Schnabel in the end, sixth. Newman, good recovery from him because he was another that stopped late as well. Really being helped out by that big wreck. Zalander in the end fell all the way to 8th for those old tyres, not helping him out whatsoever. Mignot in the end. Wow, great run from the Spaniard for Sunrise Academy team. Making his way through, despite getting tagged a few times to come home 9th. Grande 10th. And then we had Sariano, Leitner, and Hayder all finishing on the lead lap. They've Ruse, winner last time out at Daytona, could only settle for 14th here today. Blix 15th, Solo, another of the strong runners early on. The 13 finishing 16th. McManus 17th with Gladden Brown, and Spitzmuller finishing 20th, and then Nevry 3 laps down. Kapal in 22nd, 4 laps down, and then we're pretty much into retirements now. Sufi 5 laps down. Campbell, he retired the truck all the way back on 72. With Blakesley, we lost on a lap 64. Euclid 53. Crouch on 47, and well, what a riches to rag story for Kevin Kisselman. On the podium last week, nearly took the victory, but out by lap 45 here at Michigan. Well, Charles, let's see if we can grab some of our drivers for a bit of a chat. First up, let's have a bit of a chat with him. Sat there patiently waiting, so may as well have a bit of a chat to him. Now joined by Lennart Schnabel. I mean, there was so much strategy going on coming into that final green-white checkered. I mean, it could have been absolutely anyone's, really.
Yeah, it was stressful at the end. Definitely. Well, I wasn't in the position I would have hoped for, especially starting on pole. But it is what it is. Glad I went through the last wreck on the last lap in turn 2, but I'd say all in all we did pretty well.
I mean, it must have been incredibly nervous when you saw them starting to wreck, and for yourself, was it just a bit of blind luck, faith, and hoping and praying it just opened up for you, or were you relatively safe?
I saw that they crashed on the outside, so I hope that they last on the outside. It went as planned, but could have been ended in the other way. So we were pretty lucky.
Definitely was indeed. But well, I mean, next time out we head across to Bristol. Very different track to the first two. What's your thoughts?
I like those tracks where you have to be a bit more technical than in Daytona or at Michigan, where you have to brake a little bit. I think that will add some spice to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what it brings to us. Yeah.
Right, definitely. Likewise, that's Leonard Shaver starting on pole in the 88. Managed to finish at 7th in the end. We've got time. We're running a bit over here for one last driver to have a chat with. Now joined by, wow, winner in the 31, Mark Redford. Mark.
Hello.
Wow, congratulations. Definitely redemption for Daytona. But even so, I mean, wow, what a crazy race that was in the end. 9 cautionary periods.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, yeah, Daytona was just unlucky. I got knocked out of the lead and then didn't finish the final lap. Tonight, I don't know what's happening because I'd just been told, I mean, it's nice of them to tell me after the race that I had a qualifying ban. So I don't know what's going to happen with the points.
Well, it'd be an interesting one to see how that one pans out. But even so, I mean, as been shown, I mean, Gunnarsson came from the back to finish 2nd in the end. It's about being at the right time and being on the right tyres as well. And you seem to just
definitely
nail that every single time. You know, picked out the right strategy and just works a treat for you.
Well, I got caught up in one of the crashes, so I had to pit and take a fast repair and tyres. And I think that just worked out lucky because then we had a fairly long run and I could work my way from the back to the front. And then, yeah, the last thing I wanted to see was that caution with 2 laps to go.
Definitely. I mean, were you running close on fuel at all?
No, I had plenty on board.
That's always good to know.
Always put enough to cover the green-white checkers because you never know if they're going to happen or not.
Well, a prime example being today. I mean, one last question for you, Mark, before we let you go. Bristol, looking forward to it, or not quite so much?
Well, Bristol can be good. Depends on how the racing goes. I mean, it could be a wreck fest. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get to race and, yeah, hopefully I'll have a good pace around there, but we'll see.
Definitely look forward to seeing you. That is your winner here today in the 31 Toyota. That's Mark Redford. Wow. Charles, what a sort of introduction to the series. It's been a crazy race here from Michigan, definitely. What's your thoughts?
Oh, it really has, but I've really enjoyed the racing. I think you've got there's a lot of really good drivers in this. It's going to be interesting to watch during the rest of the season and see who can master the different types of tracks, and that's always the key for a NASCAR event. Is if you can handle the super speedways and then the intermediates and then the short tracks. So we'll see who can adapt.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting to see who can adapt to the short track next time out here at, from Bristol. It's going to be an interesting one. Just going on at the moment on Apex Racing TV is the Ray Esports Week 13 runoffs. About to get running with our next racing again. You can join Austin and Andy for that one. But wow, what an amazing race it has been here from Michigan International Speedway for round 2 of the ARL Truck Series. Drama right to the finish, but let's face it, we didn't expect anything less whatsoever. From myself, Tim Cox, Charles Bashal, and Sam Fitzpatrick, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a week's time when we head to Bristol.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.